Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my Crafty Corner. So today I'm going to be showing you my technique for creating ink blended galaxy skies. I just love galaxy skies. I love how they can be so different and yet so pretty every time. So to start with, I'm going to be using the Big World, but I'm not going to be using the stamp set first. I'm going to be using the die. So I'm going to be cutting this firstly out of some masking paper. So I have some masking paper here, and I'm just going to run this through my mini blossom machine with the masking paper because we're just going to be creating a mask for the first bit. So I'm just going to run this through, and I just love how pretty my little mini blossom machine is. So that it is, and it's popped out, and it just looks great, and it's cut the first time perfectly. So once I've done that, I'm just going to remove the backing off the masking paper and place my die in place. So I'm going to place this where I want to stamp my world later on. I'm then going to get on with inking my galaxy sky. So I started off with some mango smoothie first. I know it's a little bit of a strange colour, but I do like a little bit of yellow in my galaxy. I've then added some crimson, and then this is the lavender fields, and then a little bit of deep iris. So I'm using 3 different shades of purple, 2 different shades of blue, a yellow and a red. The yellow and the red do seem a little bit random at first, but they do work perfectly. So I am actually putting my spots in randomly. You don't really need to worry too much about it. I do try to create kind of a triangle effect with my yellows and reds though, because they're the colours that really do stand out in the galaxy when you have finished. So I have used for my the purple colours, is Lavender Fields, Deep Iris and Midnight Violet. And for my blues, I have used Galactic Stream and Desert Night. So I have gone around the circle mask first, and then, because that's where I was going to first place all my galaxy sky, but then I decided to cover the whole of it. So I've just added in a few more dots of the yellow, a few more dots of the red, and then gone around with the blues and purples. And it does still look a bit splodgy, so what I've done is I've taken a larger blending tool. I have been using a finger blending tool up to this point, and I'm just using Galactic Stream all over. I'm trying not to go over the yellow so much because I do really want that to stand out, and if I do go over it, I won't be able to bring it back to its brightness at all. So I've gone in again with the colours that I do want to stand out. So the yellow, which was the mango smoothie, the red, which was the crimson, and a little bit of the deep iris as well. So what at this point, you still might not like your galaxy, but you will, I promise. So then I'm going to use some ink spray, and this is the pure white, and firstly I'm going to use this one, and I'm just putting down lots of beautiful stars with just taking the top out of the sprayer and then tapping it down. I'm then going to use some iridescent spray. I do end up using a lot of sprays because I do think that all the different colour stars look very pretty, and stars are different colours depending on how hot they're burning. So I feel that this is where I've got the inspiration from. So that was the iridescent. Now I'm using the antique silver, so I'm going to just splatter some more stars down, and I love how random this is, and it definitely does make it look like a galaxy sky because all them stars just look so pretty in their little patterns. I'm then going to use some antique gold spray. Again, I'm taking the top off my spray bottle and not actually spraying. Instead, I'm adding some splatters by flicking the top part onto my piece where I want them to be. Well, not perfectly where I want them to be because it is quite random. I'm then going to remove my mask, and it's a little bit wet because I have added quite a few drops of spray, so I need to be pretty careful when removing this, but just look how great that looks. You could just leave it as is if you wanted to. If you wanted to make this into a moon, that would definitely work as well. I'm then going to take the Big World stamp set, and I'm going to be using this piece here. So there's 2 different sides of the world, and I'm going to be using this side. So I'm firstly going to be stamping in my C, So I've just placed it in position where I want it to be, and I'm now using some ocean waves to ink up it first. I am going to be stamping this twice, so this is the first time I'm doing it with the ocean waves, popping it into place, and it just looks beautiful. I'm then going to add in some dusk. I'm just swiping the edges of the stamp because I do want different darker places, like how the sea is in the world when you see it from space. So I'm then going to just blend this out a little bit so I don't get harsh lines with just a finger dauber. So I'm going to stamp this down, and then you're going to see that I'm going to get in different spots and shadows in the sea, and it just looks very pretty. So I'm then going to place in the first bit of the land, and I started by inking this up with some minty mint and some sweet leaf, and then just blending them together with another finger dauber. But then once I had stamped it down, I realized it was a bit light. So this time that I've done it, it was a little bit of a mistake, but because I do have it in my Misty, I could just rectify this by stamping it straight over with some sweet leaf and then adding in some just green around the edges and little spots and dabs where I wanted it to be. Again, I'm just blending this out with a finger dauber so I don't get any nasty harsh lines. So once I have stamped this, I realised that it did look a lot better, darker, and I was going a little bit lighter in the first place. So I'm placing down the second part of the land. This time I'm going to ink it up with some just green. So this is the shadow that I added to the first layer. I'm using for the solid piece on my second layer. So I've stamped this down. I'm then going to add in some hunter's green around the edges and just in dibs and dabs where I want it to be. So I'm just like kind of swiping it from the edge to get like a more darker edge around the world. And again, I'm just using my finger dauber to blend this out so I don't get too many harsh lines. But you can see just how beautiful that looks there. So once I've done that, I'm going to do a little white strip for my sentiment. I'm just using a little piece of scrap paper, adding my sentiment where I want it to be and inking it up with some jet black ink. The sentiment that I've chose is from the Big World stamp set, and it says Adventure Awaits. I just wanted to make it a little bit more dynamic, a bit more movable on the card, so I've just added a little bit of a diagonal cut to this before I've added it in, before I add it into place, which I haven't done yet. So I'm just going to add this onto my card front. I have trimmed it so it's 4 by 5 1/4, so I have a nice white edge around a white cardstock. This I felt really bright in the card, and it did pull in the sentiment strip that I have in white as well. To add the sentiment, I'm just going to add on some foam tape to the back of it, and then I'm just going to put it into position. So I've just cut 2 little strips, 3 little strips even. Just take the backing off those, and then I can place it into position. I do find the diagonal cut on this sentiment does make it work a lot better. It's kind of like an arrow telling you to go that way. So that's how I'm going to think of it anyway. So I'm just trying to line it up with my craft mat behind to get it nice and straight. And there is my card complete. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video and the technique today, and I really do hope that you give it a go. I love creating galaxy skies. They're so beautiful, and as I said, they're different every time. You're never going to get the same galaxy sky. So thank you so much for watching. If you don't want to miss out on any videos that we do upload to the channel, it would be great if you do subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.